Okay, so we're going to start by creating a new project. You can name it whatever name you want. For example, in our case, maybe I wanted to collect data about houses, so I'll just name it houses. Surveying. Now we are in that project, as you can see. So now we want to create the layers. You come here, then you can add a drone feature. Maybe name these houses a single dwelling unit, SDU in short, and that will remain as a point feature. You can change the properties of that feature, the colors, however you want. I think I'll let it be a circle and then add. Now I also want this feature to have some attributes. So you can click on the settings, add an attribute name. For example, I'll need a name attribute for the name of the houses. This one can remain as a text attribute type, then add. As you can see, there are no labels, so if I want to turn on the label, I can click here and say name. You can see that this feature changes. You can also turn it on and off by clicking on this feature. So when it's on, it shows name. Then you can close, and we can try drawing this feature on the map. So you can click close for the layers. Click editable. This is the button for editing features. We can change the layers on this button here. For example, if I had more layers, I could just come here and then change the layers on the one which I want to edit, or the one which I want to draw the features on. So I add a point, you can see it turns green. Then I can click on the map. You can see there's a feature there. Click on another map, there's a feature there. Click on another place on the map, feature right there. If we want to change the map, for example, this we have this map overlay. If I want to change this overlay to be, let's say, on a Google layer, maybe satellite layer, can do that. For example, here we do that by, let me see. Yeah, you can come here, layers. Actually, it's the same place. Come layers, then background map. You go to here. You can say Google Maps. You can see it changes. And in this case, we want them to be Google Satellite. So there it comes. So now we have pretty good image. You can notice that this place is sparsely populated, so I want this example to be realistic. So let's go to densely populated area where we have at least some houses. If only the map can load. Let's see, changing to another layer. Hopefully it will load. Let's go to Nairobi. I'm zooming into a place I know, maybe Kilimani. So changing the background layer to be satellite. I'm hoping that yes, so this one loads up. So Assuming that maybe you were walking around and you have set your location on, the button right above the search button is the one to center your location for where you are. But in this case, I've just chosen an arbitrary location. So in this case, I and zoom in and then tap. For example, that's one house, another one. If it doesn't tap, you could zoom in some more, then tap, then tap, tap there. There's another house, another one, another one, another one. Yeah. So we can assume those are the houses we want to map, to draw. If you want to name the houses, for example, uh, assuming that I was walking around this area, and I look at these houses, and the first one that I tapped on was house number 1. So I could just tap on that, zoom in, then tap on that feature, and it will bring up a menu. And you remember those attributes that we edited, we added. So here we have the name, so you can name it, let's say single dwelling unit 1, and save. So it tells you attribute is saved. It's important that you save, and then as you can see on the map, it shows that attribute. You can do the same for the others. SD2, sorry, save. Same for the others. SD3, save, and so on and so forth. So I think you get the idea. Now for the other kinds of houses, maybe for the flats or the apartments, assuming that this is the apartment that you came to, you could do that, but we have to create another layer for multiple dwelling units. Let's say we'll call them multiple dwelling units instead of apartments. So you come into layers, add another layer, drawn feature, do the same. This one we call it multiple dwelling units. It will be a point feature. So leave it at that. Maybe you can change the color so that you can differentiate it easier. Change the brightness there. I think that's okay. Okay. And then add. Do the same for the attributes. Sorry, this is SDU. The MDU attributes, we change it. We add an attribute called name, and we add, that will be textual. We can set it to on for the label, and we can add just one more attribute. Let's say if you were taking statistics for the number of houses inside the apartment, so we can say add another attribute called number of units. I could just say units to make it easier. We'll just know that it's number of units. So this one will change the attribute type to be numerical and say add. We won't turn this on because we want to know the names of the apartments, not the units at a glance. Close that, close that. Then going here, we can now see that we can change the layers into, we can change the editable layers into MDU, which is multiple dwelling units, and then add a point. Click it there. Let's say this building has 2 wings, so it has that wing and one more wing. I'm judging from the Google Earth satellite view, but I'm not so sure. But we can just assume that it has 3 wings, assuming so. So we can name that one by clicking, can zoom in, then tap on that first point, name it, maybe apartment 1, wing A, which has, let's assume it has 56 units. Save that. And apartment 1, wing B. Maybe this one has 60 units, and you can say save, and so on and so forth. So that's how you do that's how you draw features on the map for point features. Now, assuming if you had if you wanted to draw um, uh, uh, line features on the map, you can also do that. So we will have to create another layer, maybe say roads, just assuming that you want to create roads, or maybe you want to note something along the road. So let's say road. This one will represent the line feature as an example, and here we can get the line color to be, let's say, red or maybe yellow. Add that brightness, and we can have the line width um, a little bit thicker. Yeah, this one changes the thickness of the line on the map, so I'll put it to 5 pixel, then okay, then add, then close. So assuming this is a road, I don't know exactly which road this is, but we'll just assume. Changing to the roads layer, you can see it tells you no features found. So we can we forgot to do one thing on the roads attributes. Maybe you can add an attribute called name for the name of the road, and add, put it on. We can switch it off so that we don't have too much clutter and a lot of noise with the labels. And then it can you can see it shows you no features found. You can click here and say new feature. So this could be our first road. So let's say leaky road, assuming this is a road, this map, but I'm not saying it's the exact location, or it's a real thing, just doing it for an example. So add, so that's leaky road. Now wherever, if I do say add in or insert point, with whichever place I tap onto and add a line, that will be leaky road. So until I come here and click back to, sorry, click off the add point feature, it will still be adding a road called leaky road. So be careful of that. So now we add a point like that. I'm not going to think too much about the um, the accuracy of the line feature. Then finished, we can say go back to add. We can switch off the edit feature, so that you cannot so that we don't add too many features. Now when you click onto a point, it can give us a chance of naming that point. So we're good. Or if you have to add, maybe for example, maybe you've come to a common let's say residential area. It's sort of like an estate or something, maybe a court where we have similar houses, under one management. So we want to make some sort of a polygon to highlight that place. We can also do that by adding another layer. So here we go to add layer, drone feature. Can call it let's call it estate, and this will be a polygon. And we can put this polygon. We can let's give it a blue color. You can notice that we have two properties to edit here, to change, or we can change two properties, that is the polygon outline and the fill color. So we can put the fill color to be a different color just for the example so that you can see the difference. The fill color is the color that will show that fills that fills up the area. You can also decide to turn it off by reducing the opacity. So I'll put the opacity to maybe 30%, around there, 31. Okay. Then outline, I can put different color so that you can see the difference. Outline width, I think will have a thickness of 5 pixels. That's okay. So this is how it looks. You can look at geometry symbol. That is how that polygon will look like. You can change it, maybe have a red, and that is how it changes. That's how it looks like. So let's add an attribute name called let's say estate name. There. Then you add, you can set the label to be off, but you can set it on, switch it on if you want to. Go back to the editing, say so now we want to go into estate mode, new feature called estate 1. We can name it leaky, maybe a different name, Eagles estate if you want to, if you feel like it. Add, and there, so we add a feature. Now I'm going to be zooming in some so that we can we are going to look at the boundaries of the estate so that we get a good idea of where we want to put the bounds on. So I'm going to put a point there, point there, point there. You can notice it's not as accurate, and there. And then we are done. Switch it off, and yeah, you can maybe name it Eagles estate. Or we can or we could name it, or we could leave it at that. It doesn't matter because you're just naming a point, and then this point, that's one point. Oh yeah, we've actually named the whole polygon. Yeah, that's okay. So now you can notice it's not as accurate. So if you want to move the points, you actually can. So you just zoom in a little more so that you don't accidentally you don't accidentally pick on a different point that you wouldn't pick on a different point. So you zoom in some, hold onto the point, and as you can see now I can move it around. So maybe I could place it right there at the corner with my finger, tap hold on the next one, place it there. Do the same for the others, tap hold there, top hold there. And now we have relatively visually accurate representation of the data. So there, I think that's all for now. In the next video, maybe I can show you how we can export this data into different formats. For example, if you want this data in form of KMZ, maybe you've been to the field maybe for 3 days collecting all your data, surveying, and then you want to do a little bit more on that data, process it a little bit more on the computer, maybe using other tools, other GIS tools. So I'll be doing that on the next video. Thank you.